Bhajagovindam chanting, verses 6 to 10.
यावत् पवनो निवसति देहे तावत् पृच्छति कुशलं गेहे गतवति वायुः देहापाये भार्या बिभ्रति तस्मिन् काये बालस्तावत् क्रीडासक्तः तरुणस्तावत् तरुणीसक्तः वृद्धस्तावत् चिन्तासक्तः परमे ब्रह्मणि कोऽपि न सक्तः काते कान्ता कस्ते पुत्रः संसारोऽयमतीव विचित्रः कस्य त्वं कः कुतायातः तत्त्वं चिन्तय तदिह भ्रातः सत्सङ्गत्वे निस्सङ्गत्वं निस्सङ्गत्वे निर्मोहत्वम् निर्मोहत्वे निश्चलतत्वं निश्चलतत्वे जीवन्मुक्तिः वयसि गते कः कामविकारः शुष्के नीरे कः कासारः क्षीणे वित्ते कः परिवारो ज्ञाते तत्त्वे कः संसारः
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करमावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
Shankara says you are lost in the samsara. And the tragedy is you can't see it. That's what he says in verse 7. Is so long as childhood lasts, one is attached to play. Means one is lost in play. So long as youth lasts, one is lost in dancing, enjoyment. Old age, lost with worries. Which means your whole life you are constantly occupied. And when I say constantly occupied, what I mean is you are constantly preoccupied. It is not the physical occupation that's the problem. It is your mental occupation. That's what he is asking the question. Who is ever thinking of the self? Yes. Rame Brahmani Kopina Sakta. Who is having ever time, energy left in them to think of the self? Think of the self in the sense, think of something higher. That's what it means. Something beyond your occupation. What are you occupied? Your whole life is occupied with involvement. This problem is that involvement. Therefore, what he says is, when you are getting a little opportunity here or there to get out, don't kick it off. Don't postpone. Grab that opportunity. That's what he is giving here. What is the central theme of verse 7? is this. It says when you are getting an opportunity to conceive something higher, to work towards something higher, to understand something higher, to feel for something higher, don't leave that opportunity, because it's a very rare opportunity you get. Why is that? Your life, if you take, you are fully lost in all these things. So you may get it here and there. So what is your current situation? Current situation is totally lost. You can't see your involvement. How do you get involved? It's a thought by thought you get involved. It's a slow involvement. You know, it's a very, very slow process. And we never understand the process actually. No, because we don't have that alertness or awareness to understand the process. To recognize that process, you need a tremendous alertness. You need awareness to understand the process. The moment you start doing anything, you become very serious about it. Isn't it? Why do you become serious about anything in life? The seriousness is what? The seriousness is nothing but your ego. That's where you become serious. Now, from where that seriousness comes? When you start anything, you start sincerely. Everything commences sincerely. There's no doubt about it. Sincerity is the first step. But somewhere down the line, that sincerity metamorphoses into seriousness. I'll give an example, then it will be easier to recognize. Imagine a few guests say they are coming home for dinner. What happens? Let's say about 8-10 people are coming. Say for dinner, you got to prepare for them. Plus your home also. What is the first thought? How the whole thing will start? Mentally. First thing you will ask is what? Imagine that you invite, first thing they ask is what? People call, Swamiji comes, Sunandaji comes and all that, they call. We would like to have Swamiji coming home for lunch or dinner. They say, okay. But the problem is, it's not one man coming. If Swamiji is coming means minimum, 15 to 20 people will come along with him. Is it okay? No. Any number is fine for us. No problems at all. Very, very happy to, serve them. That and all they'll say. Then what happens? We'll say, okay. They asked me about, 1.5, 2 months earlier. After about 2 months, I call, just about 2 days before only I tell them, yes, it is confirmed that, Swamiji is coming on this date to your house for dinner or lunch. The moment I say is coming for lunch, what happens? First question from them. What is it? What does he like? Very, very genuine. No? Obviously, when you are, hosting to guests, obviously your question will be what? I would like to prepare what is liked by them. Right. I say, momos he like. Then what happens? The problem is what now? I don't know how to prepare momos. Right. So immediately the thought goes to what next? Why can't this man like something that I know how to prepare? right? The whole thing, this. By the time you see the cooking starts, the processing starts and all that, you go to their house, what a tension. Tremendous tension is there around host. That's why these days we don't cook and invite people to our house. We don't cook, or else we prepare one dish. This I prepared. What about other things? Kitty party. Everywhere we started doing this kitty party. What? You bring one dish, I bring one dish. I tell them, don't worry, anybody has a kitty party, I'll come. I'll bring water. That's all. That I know. How to prepare, I'll prepare water and bring. Slowly what happens? Suddenly the whole thing becomes what? That cooking which you have been doing for the last about 25, 30, 40 years appears on that day what? Pressure. Burdensome, isn't it? That whole effort of cooking looks so burdensome. And how that burden came into picture now? We think it is because of that number. It's got nothing to do with the number, please. Then how it started? It all started with what? Your first thought. First thought is what? What is he like? That thought is what, sir? Very, very sincere thought, is it not? Can anybody challenge that thought? The validity of that question? Why are you asking what does he like? Any guest, I'm not saying Swamiji, any guest for that matter, they come. New couple. There is a tradition, in our country. The new couple, when they wedded, they'll be invited by all the relatives. They invite, they keep going from house to house. So when they go there, they keep asking them, what do you like? What do you like? Obviously, a host is supposed to ask that question. Very, very sincere. The starting point is very sincere. But somewhere down the line, that whole work becomes what, sir? Heavy. So what do you remember? You remember only the first thought. And you can relate to the current experience of yours. What is your current experience? Burdensome. First thought is very genuine, very practical, very sincere thought. That sincere, genuine thought landed you where? In pain. You can connect only that and this. In between, where your ego took over the whole scene, how that ego hijacks that genuinity and converts your sincerity to be a very serious person. We never understand that. We can never see the connect. You see, that's what happens here. That is why when you see here also, you can't understand factually bhajagovindam. If you read that verse, without telling you people this is bhajagovindam, Shankara, Vedanta, all those things, if I were to tell you, there is a child who is not playing with toys, what do you think of the child? Just imagine, in your circle, there is a child. And the child is not playing with any toys. What do you think of the child? Immediately you take him to a doctor. Say what? Something wrong with the child. Isn't it? That's what actually happened in Shankara's life. After Shankara became Shankara, one couple brought one small baby, a child. They brought 5-year-old boy. They brought and said, for this 5 years, this boy had never spoken a word. So we think, this child is deaf and dumb. We heard that you are a great Swami. In our country, we don't go to a psychiatrist. We don't go to all these people. We go to a Swami. Any problem we have, we go to Swami only here. Sarvaroha Nivarani, you get from those people. So he goes. So Shankara looked at the child and asked the child, who are you? And the child, rattled off in chaste Sanskrit, 5 verses, chaste philosophy. And his parents were dumbfounded. The audience were dumbfounded. They didn't understand what is happening. They were not sure who spoke. And that too, how come he spoke with such clarity? How is it possible? This is something. None of them understood what that verse is, what he is speaking. But they understood he is speaking Sanskrit. That much those people could recognize. Shankara looked at the parents and said, "Will you give the child to me?" The parents happily gave the child to Shankara. Why? Dumb child. Why keep him? It's a burden. He is taking that burden off. Why? Like imagine in Harvard University, your son or your daughter gets a seat. And I were to come and tell you, why are you sending him to Harvard? Send him to Vedanta Academy. What will you think you do? Huh? Will you send? Say, Ishwaran, we know you are taking classes very well. But you don't understand what it is to go to Harvard, Cambridge, Stanford, he has got Stanford University has given him a scholarship and inviting him. I say Vedanta Academy also will give scholarship. I will find a scholarship for him. Don't worry. I will find a sponsor. You don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Say, no. That child, imagine your child fails. In fact, this is the trump card I used with my dad. When I wanted to join Vedanta Academy, this is the trump card I used. Finally, I told him, see, you know me. I was asking him to join Vedanta Academy. He's not giving permission. He said, nothing doing. You better stay back. I'll break your legs, he said. I'll cut your legs. I'll break your legs. I will feed you rest of your life. But you are not going to Vedanta Academy, he said. Finally, I told him, look here. You know me. Just now I have given final exam. BCom. Right. No guarantee I will pass. Right. Second year I fail also, there nobody will know. Right. If I fail in first year also, nobody will know. Why? Because automatically I'll go to second year. If I fail in second year also, no problem. Why? Automatically I'll go to third year. Suppose you fail in third year, what happens? Right. You will not get job for sure. Nor can you go for any higher education. Nothing you can do. You have to sit at home. I told him, suppose if I fail, what will happen? Right. Suppose even if I fail, if I go to Vedanta Academy, you can tell all the relatives, what? I had 2 sons. Both the sons I have given to the world. That's all. Both the sons of mine I have given to serve the society. Everybody will think you are a Mahatma. Why do you want to lose that opportunity? What is this the reason for you to do? The child, they gave. He is one of the chief disciple of Shankara, Hastamalaka. The child name is Hastamalaka. He gave that name to him. Hastamalaka. That's a text given by this boy. This is a Hastamalakiyam. This is a text. Very, very popular one. In, chaste philosophy he speaks there. A child who is not playing, the parents think what? Something wrong. Similarly, you see a youth, beautiful girl passing by. He is not even looking at her. You think of that boy what? Hey, something wrong with that fellow, man. Isn't it? Right. Something wrong with him. He is supposed to do that, no, isn't it? Because it is Shankara saying, you people are listening to it. Is it not? Yeah, why are you getting involved? You're lost man in this. Our understanding is what? Sir, that is what a person is supposed to do. Grandparents in the house is meant only for what, sir? To keep on nagging, keep on asking. That's called worried. You are constantly worried. Worried means what? Not that, you have to sit. Not like that, please. Don't take it like that. Old man means what, sir? Simple way of identifying whether a man has become old or not. He will go into the kitchen and ask the question, what is for lunch? What is for dinner? That means what? Old. What is your problem? When it comes on to the table, you will know what is there. The youth will never ask that question. What are you preparing? Unless he wants you to prepare something. If he likes something, he will ask you. Hey, I don't like it this way. Prepare it like this, prepare it like that. That he will say. But he will never be concerned about, what are you cooking? What is happening? What is going on? What is this? What is that? Two people sit and talk. Old man means what? He will immediately come and ask, what are you talking? He'll say, hey, we are talking something. What is your problem, man? No, they have to interfere. That's called worry. Worry in the sense, you are lost in that old age. You are attached to worry when he says, don't take it like, our understanding of worry. You are unnecessarily, you become inquisitive to know what's happening. I have to know what is happening around me. Around and me. What is happening? What is happening? I have to keep on asking this question. So what Shankara is saying here is, hey man, your current lifestyle is anti-growth. Your current lifestyle is against spiritual development. When you get an opportunity, grab it. It's a very rare chance you will get. Everyone will not get that opportunity to grow. Everyone will not get it. It's very rare specimens who get that opportunity. Your whole life is lost. When you are a child, you are lost in toys. You're worried with this. You're lost in that involvement. And that involvement looks okay to you. And that involvement looks normal to you. That's the tragedy. That is where the problem is. The problem is not with reference to involvement. That involvement appearing as legitimate, normal. That's what he is supposed to be. Child is supposed to be playing with toys. If the child is not playing, you feel something wrong. The youth is going to go for enjoyment. And he wants what, sir? Varied enjoyments. Variety. Varied enjoyments they will be wanting. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want this. Different enjoyments. So, and at that stage, what happens? When you are a child, you don't have the capacity to comprehend the higher. You can't understand the higher. When you become a youth, you have the capacity to comprehend, but the problem is what? You feel shy to do it. What do you know? These days you see, people feel uncomfortable to do prostration. You see? These days, people don't do it. They don't do it, with I'm not saying with bhavana and all those things. I'm not talking about that. Even mechanically to do also, I'm saying. It's not happening. Why? They feel shy to do it. How can I, I feel so uncomfortable. Others will start teasing me. Why do you do that, sir? Others will start teasing you. What others will think of me? So what happens if at all you do something You want to do it secretly inside. That is why we started talking a great philosophy. Religion is personal, sir. It's very, very personal, So what you should do? Secretly you have to do. You can't do it publicly. You see what? Your ego survives only when you are doing things secretly. Remember that. You should not do higher things secretly. You do grosser things secretly. Lower things you do secretly. That's about it. You don't want others to see. Why? Others will start teasing me. That's what the youngsters think nowadays. You talk to those people, why they are not doing it? You ask them, no. They say, no, Ishwaran, sir, we want to do it. But the problem, my friends will, if they get to know that every Friday I go to temple. Or else what they have to do? They have to make it compulsory. If you don't come, you will be penalized. It's like, if you don't come to class, you will have to pay fine. Come to class, that's fine. There's no problem. If you don't come means what, sir? Penalty. How many will sign up? I had this thought. When I started this, I had this idea. In the beginning of any course, I say I'm going to start this, personality chart. Whoever is enrolling have to pay 50,000 rupees. You attend all the 11 classes, 50,000 will be returned to you. You miss one class, nothing will be returned. I can't say, some people have told me, why don't you charge Ishwara? At least something little. I say, why should I charge little? Will you go to a doctor and say, charge little? Huh? Micro-medicine specialist he is. To say, continue the same medicine, he will charge 2,500 rupees. He'll just look at you and say, okay, continue the same thing. Come after two months. How much, doctor? 2,500. Hey, to say continue 2,500 rupees. I'm speaking for 1.5 hours. How much I should charge? For 1 minute he is charging 2,500. Now, how much I should charge? Is this the way to bring commitment in people? I say your value there will be for what then? If that fellow were to come for those 10 classes, he is coming for what then? Not for learning purpose. If I don't sit there, my God, 8 classes I have attended. 2 more classes only. I finish, that means what? I will get 50,000 rupees back. Otherwise, what will happen, sir? Meanwhile, I had a different plan. Because, I said, 50,000 rupees I'm not going to simply keep with me. Right? I did one course. In the stock market, you can make some investment there and short term, Because 10 classes means what? 2.5 months. Once a week. 2.5 months class. 3 months is enough for me to convert it. That's enough for me. So I gain, you gain. You will not even know how much I had made. It's not difficult to manipulate. This is called manipulation. It is not correct to do like that. Why do you charge smalls? You cannot have that commitment. It is not easy to have it. Why? Secretly we wanted to do certain things. We don't want to do it demonstratively. Remember, higher things have to be demonstrated. You cannot say that I am going to handle my ego secretly. No. You have to handle your ego publicly. That's the only way to deal with it. Otherwise, you cannot deal with it. That's what Shankara says here. Don't go into these things. That's why beautifully he is asking this, beautiful way of teaching. Yes. What is the problem? The youth, old age, childhood, all this lifetime you lost. Therefore, do not postpone. Now the question comes is, why do you postpone? Why you should not postpone? See, the problem is, why do you postpone? You have to understand, for you to understand why you should not postpone. Or why you should not postpone will give you the understanding of why you are postponing. That's all. The fundamental belief of all of us is what? I have at least another 30-40 years for me to live. Therefore what? Postpone. But already he has told, what is this? Your life is like what? Nalini dalagata jalamati daralam. It's like a water drop on a lotus leaf. Anytime it can take off. Therefore, don't believe that you have time. You don't have time. Don't think, you have enough time for you to work out all these things. No, you don't have enough time. One. Another dimension is this. By studying the scriptures and all those things, you get into this belief that one day morning when I wake up, suddenly I will turn spiritual. Something will happen to me. I will turn spiritual suddenly. Like what? Like what happened to Tulsidas? What happened to, Angulimal? What happened to these people? What happened to Kalidasa? At least I remember Kalidasa. Because after that movie Kalidasa, I asked my mother, I remember that Kalidas movie is there in Tamil, Shivaji Ganesan movie. Very small when I saw that movie. The movie came much before that. It just telecasted in the TV at that time. That movie came much before my birth itself, actually. This movie, after that movie, I asked my mother, where is that Kali temple? I want to go. I said, I want to visit the temple. Where is the temple? My mother thought, suddenly this guy has become a Kali Bhakta or what? I said, no. Maybe if I stay overnight in that Kali temple, Kali may come night also. I'll meet her and she will touch me, she will bless me, and I will become a great poet. Like Jnana Sambandar. I will cry, Parvati will come and give milk, I will turn this. I don't know about you people, I genuinely thought, maybe that's how it works. It took me a lot of time to understand it doesn't work like that. Why is that? Because wherever we see something happening effortlessly, we have to understand there is an enormous amount of effort gone behind it, which we don't see that. There's an enormous amount of effort, they had put in. We just see that outside, the effortlessness with which they are able to do things, the effortlessness with which Kalidasa is writing poetry, the effortlessness with which Jnana Sambandha could do, Tulsidas can do, Ramdas can do, all these people, effortlessly it happens for these people. But that's behind that effortlessness, there is effort. The effortlessness of Buddha is appreciated by all of us, but not the effort of Buddha. The effort of Buddha, none of us interested to practice. We all want to follow Buddha as what? Effortlessness of Buddha. That is why all of us go and sit under the Bodhi tree. But what sort of effort he had put in? That effort we have to see. And remember, if there is anything that were to happen suddenly like that to you, there is a very good possibility that you will lose also quickly. That overnight transformations will not sustain itself. It will not sustain. So therefore, he says, don't postpone. Don't go on postponing, man. So far what he has been doing is, okay, don't postpone. This is where you are getting involved. Your involvement is this. And the problems of samsara is this. Why? Life is so fleeting. You are lost in acquisition. You are lost in enjoyment. You are lost in relationships. You are lost in your this, in your that, all that he has given. Now suddenly we will ask the question, hey man, too much of problem analysis without providing a solution, there is no use, isn't it? See, problem analysis is one thing, but the essential dimension of that master is in the solution providing by that person. Problem analysis is not the catch. The real catch is this. Like we had one doctor in Mylapore, small, I think his name was Balasubramaniam or something, I'm forgetting his name, it is slipping out of my mind, who is known to give only tablets. He will never give injection. That's why I like that man. Any problem, you go for cancer also, he will not give injection. You say drips has to be given, he will say pour water in his mouth. He will not give. Man, fascinating, doctor he was. Very, very popular, very, very, impressive, arresting personality he was. Super personality. We used to like him a lot, because he will never give, injection. Tablets. Give only tablets. That is his style. Now each person, I have. Like you go to Ramana for a problem, he gives a solution. You go to, Mirabai, she will give a different solution. But Ramana also will say you are lost in samsara. Mirabai also will say you are lost in samsara. Tyagaraja also will say you are lost in samsara. All of them will say the same thing. But the difference comes into picture amongst all these masters is, okay, what is the solution he is giving? That is where we know the stance of the teacher, of that master. What is he? You will know from the solutions that he is giving, not from the problem analysis. Problem analysis, more or less every master will do the same thing, similar thing. Only only the terms will change. That's about it. But the solution he is going to give is where he shows how extraordinary the teacher is. Why Shankara has been given this title Jagat Guru, we will know only then. Problem. Beautifully he analyzed the problem. He says, you are lost. You are supposed to gain the knowledge of the self. Instead of that, you are getting involved in acquisition of wealth, enjoyment of the senses, and lost in the belief that you are going to be there, and you believe that relationships are going to be saving you. They are there to protect you. They will take care of your requirements. They are there to support you. So you believe there is a support system. You believe in all these things. He says, that is your samsara, man. Get out of it as quickly as possible. And even if you get a little breakthrough here and there, Catch hold. Don't kick it off. He says. Now comes the question as to what is the solution he is going to offer. He gives a solution. Verse 8 and verse 9. Solutions. Now he moves on to the solution dimension. Problem analysis first, diagnosis first, now solution. Verse 8. Kate kanta aste putra samsaro yamativa vichitra kasyatvam kah kutayatah tatvam chintaya tatiha brata. Who is your wife? Who is your son? Extremely wondrous is this terrestrial attachment. Samsara, the terrestrial attachment, what he says is samsara. Samsara is what is translated as terrestrial attachment. Ativa vichitra, he says. This samsara is ativa vichitra. Ativa means extremely. Vichitra is wondrous. Wondrous is the samsara. Samsara of what? Who is your wife? Who is your son? Whose are you? Kasyatvam. Who are you? From where have you come? Oh brother, reflect on the truth here. You see the difference. First verse, Shankara called what? Bhajagovindam, bhajagovindam, govindam bhaja, mudamate, he said. Verse 8, he calls you what? Tatiha brataha, he says. Tattvam chintaya tatiha brata. Tat iha. Tatiha is tat iha. That's a thing. Brataha, he says. Brata means, oh brother. Suddenly the whole thing changes. Initially he says you are a fool. Now he calls you brother. Why? But that's what the thing is. What? Involvement. You know, are lost completely. Lot of people, during this quarantine period, only now we are getting an opportunity to spend time with our family. We are spending time together now. We are there now. How long you are going to be like that? Till the lockdown, you don't have a choice. You see, you are not given a choice to come outside. Therefore, you are with your family. That's all. Not that you chose to stay with your family. Remember that. And that's where every wife also believed. Oh, now my husband is with me. Why? He has no choice. Therefore, he is with you. Otherwise, give him a choice. Where is he? He will take his golf clubs and walk out. You see, he is not interested with you. He loves golf more than you. But he will never agree that. You ask him, he will never say that. He will say, what? My life is only for you. I am living only for you. You are the most important. All lies. Why? Who stopped you spending time with your family? Nobody stopped before. A man gets retired. Retirement message. The wife says, Appa, at least now he will be with us. Now, all these years, what was he doing? Completely lost. Now, when you come and sit on the Zoom class, do you think am I to believe that you are? Suddenly everybody has become seekers. It's the pressure of staying at home. You see, that tension, that pressure, that agitation is, you're not able to digest it. Therefore, what you do, something will help me. That's what Karl Marx said. Religion is the opium of humanity. It's correct. In a way, because that's how we are using it. We are using religion only as an opium, to handle your agitations. Now, some of you are sitting here. Now, don't think you are all very spiritual now. Papa, 67 are spiritual people. 67 don't have anything else. That's all. You see, immediately you say, sir, from 90, from 100 we have come to 67. Now 33 is gone. So 33 is non-spiritual. The 67 is unemployed. That's all. You don't have anything else to do now. That's all. Tomorrow, if you get a wedding invitation card, is enough for you to skip the bhajagovindam class. Not your family wedding. Somebody, some neighbors, third cousins, neighbors wedding invitation, they gave it to you by mistake. They saw you. And one fellow asked me, sir, our neighbors, cousin's wedding, should I go or not? I asked him where the wedding happening. Find out who is a caterer. If the caterer is good, go. If the caterer you don't know, forget it. Because your concern is as though if you don't go for the wedding will stop. Huh? Such an important person or what is the wedding? Then what is your problem here? Why? That's called involvement. He said you are lost completely. Now that's anyone who says, okay, Shankara, now how am I to get out of it? And that's what he gives here, solution. And Shankara follows the Upanishadic tradition. The Upanishadic tradition is the highest student is catered to first. That's the tradition. Upanishadic tradition is that highest is taken care of. Then comes mediocre. Then comes the lowest. So they cater to that. Same way, highest he gives first. That's the same tradition is what, Krishna also follows in Bhagavad Gita. Highest material he gives in the very first verse itself. Utastva kashmalamidam vishamesam upastitam anarya justam ashwargyam akirti karmarjuna. Utastva kashmalamidam. Enough. Finished. Why? How can you get dejected in crisis? Stupid. That's all. Message is over. Arjuna couldn't understand. Arjuna didn't even hear what Krishna spoke. Forget about understanding. He didn't even hear that. And 90% of the commentators also didn't hear. Why? You read the commentaries, they just skip those verses. They don't even comment on those verses actually. I say, okay, now what? Then he comes, a mediocre material he gives. Ashochanan vasochastam prajnavadamsya bhashase. Gatasuna gatasumsya nanusochanti pandita. Mediocre message. Arjuna didn't understand that also. Then what? Loke esmin vivida nishta pura prokta mayanaga. Third chapter. He starts. So, traditionally these masters always speak like that. They give the highest first. Best way to get out of samsara is what? He says, probe man. Inquire. Viveka. Develop that Viveka buddhi. Question. Who is your wife? And the ladies were to be reading the verse, they'll say, what? Appa, this problem we don't have. Why? Who's your wife only is asking. So the question is not directed to me. Remember, who is your wife? Who is your husband? who you call your husband. It's fascinating to see. Probe carefully, he says. That's what he himself says. Reflect on the truth here, man. Tattvam chintaya. Reflect on this truth. Truth of what? Reflect on the truth of the relationships that you had built in your life. In fact, your entire samsara is nothing but what? Your relationships. That's it. Minus relationships. There is no samsara for you. In fact, you want to understand samsara, only two things are there. Samsara means what? Your business and your relationships. Your whole life is only what? Only these two things. Delete business from your life. Delete relationships from your life. What is your life? You delete those two things from your occupation. What are you occupied with in life? Business or profession or work, whatever it is. Your whole life is revolving around only these two things. Now he's saying, probe into the nature of relationships. He's not asking who's your wife in the sense, it's not that he is against wife. It's not that he is against son. It's not those things, please. He's asking you to inquire into the nature of relationships. What is the nature of relationships? What is relationships? How does your relationship get sustained? First of all, the question is, why do you need those relationships? Why do you need? Why do you need a wife? Why do you need a son? Why do you need a child? I'm not saying you should not have. Immediately don't take a stand. Oh, Ishwaran, you mean to say nobody should have a child. It's not that you should not have a child. The question is, for what? For what you have that relationship, wife? Think carefully. Is that relationship meant wife is there? Why? Husband and wife, marriage. Why marriage, sir? Marriage is only for what? Continuation of species. Sir, for the continuation of the species, marriage is not required. Mating alone is required. Isn't it? Think maturely at least. Most of you having grandchildren, think now at least. Right. You don't need that. What is required is this only. Then where is marriage fitting in? See, marriage you are fitting in only for what? It is more, we know marriage only for what, sir? Social convenience. Why? Why you need that social convenience? Is that the reason? That is why we take the oath of, I will be true to you. What do you mean by I will be true to you? Huh? I will be honest. Only you. Nobody else. What do you mean by only you? Imagine the wife were to say to her husband, I will cook only for you. Why? I have taken the marriage oath. I'll do the cooking. Cooking will happen only for you. Nobody should eat, okay? Your father, your mother, including our child also should not eat. Why? It's not correct. No, that's not what we... No, Ishwaran. When we take marriage oath, I will be honest to you. You will be honest with me. I will be with you. You will be with me. What do we mean? Is this the reason? Oh, this is very wrong. Therefore, what do you do, sir? Break the whole thing and go out. Live like animals. Immediately you are taken a stand. What? Oh, this is all very, very restricting, this is constricting, this is wrong. Therefore what? If this side is wrong, obviously the opposite side has to be correct. What is opposite side? Break all those things. No. That is also not. Then what is the reason? Why are you developing the relationship? Think carefully, he says. Think, man, says. Oh, beautiful verse. These verses are supposed to be, just reflected on. See, in the Shastras, there are certain verses which are meant only for inspiration purpose. That's it. You just get inspired, nothing else. And there are verses which demands explanation. More and more you explain, you start relishing it better and better and better. There are certain verses which needs to be thought about again and again and again. You see, certain verses are meant for inspiration. That's it. What you have to do, sir? Mam ekam sharanam braja. That's it. Nothing else. Surrender to me alone. Wow, beautiful. So, what confidence, what courage, what sort of, it's so inspiring to hear that. And there are certain verses which are meant for explanation. Verse 9 is meant for explanation. Amazing verse. Next verse. Verse 8 is meant for reflection. The teacher's job is less here. Verse 8. The student's job is more. Whereas in verse 9, the teacher's job is more than the student. See, more the explanation given, more beautiful it is. Look at it from this side, look at it from that side, look at it from this angle, see from top angle, you see from this right, you see from this, see from that. So many views to present, to show the grandeur of the verse. There are certain verses, designed for that. More and more explanation. There are verses designed for you to think, contemplate. This is one verse. Kate kanta, kaste putra. This is wondrous, is amazing. See, he is not saying samsara is so miserable. No. Misery is not what he is talking about. He says what? Vichitram. It's so vichitram. Vichitra is, it is so paradoxical. What is paradoxical? I will tell you now. We'll just come back to it. But you are supposed to derive it. But since in a class you can't do, I can't say you people do and come back and all those things. Not possible. So I am doing it. Right. So what is the paradox we will see here? Beautiful paradoxes in life. It says, why are you developing a relationship, first of all? How do you develop a relationship? What is a relationship? What is the meaning of a termination of a relationship? A relationship is broken, we say. What do you mean by that? A relationship broken, what do you mean? My father passed away. Therefore, the relationship broken. I have not spoken to my friend, a very close friend of mine, for the last about 20 and odd years. More than about 20 and odd years, I have not spoken to him. Recently, he called me during this, lockdown only. Just before that, he called me. You mean to say the relationship didn't exist before that? Why do you develop a relationship? When the person is not there at home, what happens to you? You say he's gone, he's gone. You cry, right? Why do you cry? Relationship is broken. Therefore you cry. Correct? Now, relationship means what? She is my wife. Since when she became my wife? "20 years. That's all. Before that, what was me? Didn't exist. Before marriage, did I existed? I existed or not? Before marriage, I existed. No. Before the child's birth, I existed, right? Huh? Before the marriage, I existed. Before the child's birth, I existed. Now what had happened, sir? Marriage happened. The moment the marriage happened, a period of time comes. After that, I say what? I can't live without you. Every relationship we feel what, sir? You can't live without the other person. That's why we always introduce better half. Obviously, that means what? You are what? The partner is better half. What are you? Worst half. Isn't it? Worst half is a better half. Better half. But why? When that relationship gets terminated, when the other person is not there, something happens to you. That something causes tremendous pressure, tremendous agitation to you. You don't want that agitation to happen. Therefore, you are putting tremendous effort to sustain that relationship. That's all. What is that? When that person is not there, what do we all cry saying? How can I live alone? You have left me. That's what happens now to all of us. When everybody goes out of house, I have to live alone in the house. I feel what? Missing, isn't it? I start feeling lonely. That loneliness is killing. So how can I terminate that loneliness? I can overcome that loneliness only by developing a relationship. That relationship is what is called as wife-son. Remember, wife-son again is an example. Don't take it literally wife and son, please. Wife means what, sir? Wife means those to whom I go for comfort. There are two types of relationships we entertain in this world. One, to those where I go for comfort. Wife. Son. I become the source of comfort to them. You see? That is what Rama cries when he gets to know about the Dasharatha's death. Superb scene. Rama cries, hugging Lakshmana. There is no one to whom I can look up to now. The only option I have is you, Lakshmana, he says. From now on, what are you? You are not my brother. You are my father from today, he says. All natak only. That's a different thing. Okay. All drama. But I'm saying, it's so fascinating to see that, he's saying that. Why, sir? That we need this. See, son means what, sir? Those who are dependent on me. One. This is one way of understanding. Wife and son. Another way of understanding is this. In world, relationship means only two things. To the things that I am attached to, All those to whom I am attached to is wife. The product of such attachment is son. That's all. To what I am attached and the product of my attachment is what we call as son, daughter, etc. That's all. There are two ways of interpreting it. One, you say comfort dimension. Another dimension is to understand that through attachment. Now, Shankara is asking this question: who is your wife? Why do you develop that relationships? The relationships are developed only for what? To get out of that loneliness. When others are not there, I feel what? Lonely. That loneliness causes agitation, fear. You get scared. That's why when you are alone, people don't sleep in the room. They sleep in the hall. Have you seen? They don't go to the room and sleep when they are alone. Why? Suddenly they feel what? That entire house, I am all alone. My God. It is scary. Therefore what? I will also come with you. Or else what? That's why we have dog. Why do you have dog in the house? Do you realize no dog needs you? No dogs need a human. Only human needs a dog. I wonder who is a superior species. Now we call ourselves as what? We are chef d'oeuvre of creation, masterpiece of creation, highly evolved creature. The last, evolutionary process, the pinnacle of evolution is human. And that fellow says what? I can't live without a dog. Why do you need a dog? Think carefully. It's very, very serious thing. This is, it connects to your psyche. People have plants as pets. Why? Why people have the animals as pets? Why do you have pets, first of all? Why do you need a pet? I'm not saying that, there are, for security purpose, we keep some dogs in the house. Maybe that is possible. I'm not saying, that is a different thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a situation. See, there are people, who have cows in the house. Why? For milk purpose. That's all. There's a purpose, not as a pet. It's not my pet. There is a utility value for that. We had bull. Why? Utility. You see, for a utility value, we keep certain things. I'm not for it or against it. But, I say, why, from where this concept of pets come into picture? And particularly, pets means we keep what? You have a child, at home. Take your own son as a pet. What is your problem? You have a daughter. No, take her as a pet. What is your problem? Why do you need a dog? It is wrong to do it. People don't realize it. I can't tell. If I come to your house, if you have a dog, I can't tell you. That's the advantage of sitting at my home and talking. If I come home, you see, I go to some houses, they have fish tank. I say, for what some places, in the restaurants, they'll keep a fish tank. Why? To cook fish. That's all. They'll take the fish and cook and serve. For that they keep. In the house, why are you keeping fish tank? The fellow says, fish tank is good for what? Good for stress buster. All my stress will go away looking at it. Your stress will go. What is the stress the fish has looking at you? Fish is not supposed, leave them, free. The birds, they keep, birds in the cage. remember, you will be kept as a captive like that. Law of karma will not leave you. They are not supposed to be like that. Dogs are supposed to be in the street, not in the house. They are supposed to be community animals, not a personal animal. They are designed for the village. That is why it is referred as, if you want to, tease someone, English, Sanskrit you can use. They'll think, very proud about themselves. Grama Simha means dog. If you want to someone dog, don't say dog. Tell them he's a Grama Simha. He thinks, you are praising him as Simha. Simha means lion. Grama Simha means village lion. Village lion is a dog. The dog belongs to the entire village. It protects the entire village. You know that. It has that much capacity. We are restricting it to one family. That's why you see the domesticated dogs. You leave the domesticated dog on the street, he will not know how to survive. They'll die. They will not know how to cross the road. You leave the dog this side, go and stand on the opposite side, call him or call her. They can't come. It's not that they don't have the capacity. It's not that they don't have that. You killed it. Can there be any more crime than that? Huh? It's a crime to do it. Bonsai. A tree which is supposed to grow in size, what this fellow is doing? And they call that as art. I say, what art, man? Clipping that? Not allowing it to grow? You call that as art? Why do you have these pets? This is one side of it. I'm not even talking from that side. I prefer this analysis. But factually, why are you developing a pet? Because your human relationships are all strained. Any family where there is a pet, 99.9% you can say it is a dysfunctional family. All relationship problems the family has. I have not seen an exception for it. I am yet to see one exception. Every family that have. Why they have that pet? Not because of the pet the problem is. Because the problem is you bring a pet and say, one, why? I come back from office. So tired I come back. I want my wife to be waiting there near the door. When are you coming? When are you coming? When are you coming? Yes. What is she doing? She's sitting and watching TV serial. I come back and ask her for a cup of coffee. She says what? It's there inside. Take it. Why? It doesn't work. But I want all that. I want what? Someone who is overly joyed looking at me. Just to see me. That's all. You see? Who in the family, nobody is doing it. Therefore what? I bring a dog and I crumb that fellow's capacity and make him to wag his tail and jump over me and all those things. And I feel what? Appa, I have somebody. That is what Shankara is asking. Who is your wife? Don't say wife or husband. No. Who is your pet? Now look at the level. You have incapacitated to have a joyful, exhilarating relationship with the fellow human. As a alternative, you are bringing in an animal. And those who don't have the capacity to deal with animal, go one step down. What they do, sir? Plants. Why? 100% dependent on you. At least animals, once in a while they show their resistance to you. That's why hardly we see people having, cat's aspect. You know that because cat's behavior is very different. Whenever he wants, he will come to you. Not whenever you call. Whereas dog is not like that. That is why we started calling dog what? Best friend. Humans, best friend. Dog. Why? You show biscuit, he will come. But cat, you can keep milk also. He will say what? I will drink when I want. You leave it and go. But when he wants you, what he will do? All over you will be. That is what animal is. That is what pets will do. That is what relationship is. He says, why are you developing relationship? When I am not able to terminate, satisfy the sense, when I am not able to feel, even amongst my own fellow family people, I feel lonely. They are all there at home, but I feel what? There is no one with whom I can talk. There is nobody is there around me who understands me, who understands and gives me what I want. I feel left out. When a person feels like that, torturous that is, why do you develop a relationship, sir? Only to kill that part. Ramana doesn't have that problem. 11 years that fellow could still sit all alone. Even when people are around him, it doesn't matter. When people are not there also, doesn't matter for him. It doesn't make any difference to him. But for all of us, what is it, sir? What is the difference? Mark this very carefully now. I'll say this and then explain in the next class. What is the difference between loneliness and being alone? There is a difference. See, both the parties are alone. Nobody is around. Okay. There is no one around Ramana. There is no one around. For about 14 years, he was in prison. No, this, what's his name? South Africa. I'm forgetting his name. 14 years, fellows, in the jail, all alone. Nobody is there. Solitary confinement. That's the worst, punishment. You make a mistake in the society, they put you in jail. You misbehave in jail, what they do? Solitary confinement. Because worst thing to do is solitary. So he's all alone by himself. Now, sir, what is the difference between loneliness and aloneness? Think about it. What is the difference between loneliness and aloneness? We'll meet on Friday. Hari Om.